Visiting Gualtieri starts from the splendid Bentivoglio Piazza, fulcrum of the life of the city. Facing it are the collegiate church of Santa Maria della Neve, the civic tower with its ancient clock, the arches that uninterruptedly decorate three sides of the piazza, and finally the Bentivoglio Palace, rising like an imposing monolith in the open space of our plain. Here we are at Ligabue, short, bent over, his bony face frowning and his eyes aflame. Tormented by anxiety and nerves, this artist has brought ardor, poetry, genius and anger into his painting, the great search for love that has accompanied him throughout his life. The Cantina Sociale di Gualtieri was founded in 1958 by 21 passionate, courageous and far-seeing wine growers who began to manage their grapes directly and market them. Now the grapes are produced over 430 hectares of land, property of the 310 members, situated in the areas most suitable for Lambrusco. Today, thanks to their productive and entrepreneurial ability, 70,000 quintals of highly selected DOC and IGT grapes are brought to the cellar that has a stocking capacity of 90,000 hectolitres of wine contained in steel silos or vitrified and thermo-controlled tanks. Equipped with modern technology, the cellar has been able to join technical competence with respect for tradition in a winning union. The history of a bottle of Lambrusco of the Cantina Sociale di Gualtieri begins at the end of the winter with the pruning of the vines. This operation aims at maintaining vegetation and production, quantity and quality in harmonious equilibrium. Energetic pruning that leaves fewer buds on the plant allows diminishing production to the advantage of the sugar content and the quality. Pruning techniques have evolved, the instruments have been modernized, but the small secrets handed down from generation to generation makes this operation, yesterday as today, remain one of the most important and determining phases of cultivating the vine. The checks that the technicians carry out in the field, the respect for the disciplines of production, and the care of the producer members make up the wealth of the wines of the Cantina Sociale di Gualtieri. With the first warmth, the sap begins to flow in the veins of the cut shoots and emerges in drops, causing what is known as the weeping of the vine. The characteristics of the terrain, climatic conditions, and exposure to the sun determine the maturation phases of the grape. These phases are constantly supervised by the wine growers during the summer to be able to reach the moment of harvesting with a healthy product that has safeguarded all the organoleptic characteristics that an excellent and selected Lambrusco grape should have. The hot summer sun brings the bunches of grapes to maturity, and the harvesting operations are therefore prepared. During maturation, the consistency of the pulp diminishes, the sugars accumulate, the vitamins increase, the acids and mineral elements diminish, and the quantity of polyphenols, enzymes, and nitrogenous substances varies. Clever and delicate hands cut the stalks off and take the bunch, as if protecting it up to and into the basket. The art and passion of cultivating the vine shines through even the smallest gestures. Mechanical harvesting, suitably modernized in the wine-growing sector, is possible on vines from the moment of planting if they've been prepared for this type of harvesting. The product yields more must because of the shaking effect and the mechanical movement, where the grapes undergo a first pressing. The product in this case is immediately conveyed to the cellar and treated to optimize the fermentation process. Many young farmers with courage and an entrepreneurial sense are investing in local wine growing with modern concept vines, respecting the production rules envisaged by the Wine Growing Land Registry. The cleverly harvested grapes are conveyed to the cellar. The grape is qualified before emptying the cart, and samples of must are taken to check the degree of sugar with the must meter instrument. Other than the quality of the grape, the degree of sugar will be determined to establish the allocation price at the end of the financial year. The wine pressing technique exercises a notable influence upon the characteristics of the base wine to destined for foaming. The grape is then emptied into the combined soft grape crusher and grape stalk remover, a method that allows obtaining a product with the best organoleptic characteristics. A conveyor belt empties the tank for receiving the pressed grape to conduct it to the next treatment. The stalks are separated from the must and are then disposed of on the land. The must is taken to steep in the winemakers for 12, 24, 36 hours, according to the product desired. The rotary movement eases the extraction of the colour and the extractive substances of the skin, after which it all passes into the drainer, separating the must from the skins and seeds. The must is conveyed in thermal conditioned tanks at 18 to 20 degrees centigrade to begin fermentation. The seeds are crushed in the press and later sold for the inoscyanin. The must instead undergoes various filtering processes to free it of the impurities that form the dregs, from which tartaric acid and alcohol are extracted. Lambrusco, being a sparkling wine, needs a second fermentation. Once the type of product to bottle has been decided, the wine is put into autoclaves together with the must that supplies the sugar needed for the yeasts to make the second fermentation. This is the Charmat method of foaming. After about 30 days, the wine is ready for bottling. At the act of bottling, the wine undergoes microfiltering. The latter important and delicate operation is the sterilization phase of the wine, with the task of physically eliminating all the residue yeasts. Microfiltering takes place under rigid hygiene regulations that safeguard the richness of the sugar, the taste, and the color of our wine. At this point, the wine is bottled, corked, labeled, and put into cardboard boxes, ready to be forwarded to Italian and foreign markets. Welcoming the client, consumer, and satisfying his needs are at the center of our attention. We dedicate time, hospitality, competence, and cordiality to him. The vast range of DOC and ITG Lambruscos in bottles and loose is able to satisfy even the most demanding palates. Our promotional initiatives and information campaigns and the elegant packaging complete the offer of wines with the Cantina Sociale di Gualtieri trademark. Are often awarded Reggio DOC, Buccia Amara Red, the Reggio DOC Etichetta Oro, and Bentivoglio Lambruscos, the Chiaro del Pescatore, a lightly covered rosé, the white, rosé, and red Ligabue line, the Reggio and Mantova IGT Lambruscos, the sweet intense Fortana, the white Malmsey wines and the sparkling Waltherus wines, and finally the Antiche Tradizioni, the top of our DOC wines. All wines signed by the Cantina Sociale di Gualtieri. The refined Ligabue Lambrusco Rosé, a smiling and attentive companion able to confer moments to remember. The Reggio DOC Buccia Amara Red, generous and fascinating. Its verve is unmistakable. Antiche Tradizioni, the high-quality DOC, appreciating the fullness of its perfumes in an inebriating pleasure. And to conclude dinner with a chalice of sparkling Waltherus, joyful and intriguing, like a promise. Cantina Sociale di Gualtieri, the Lambrusco of your desires.